Hi, I'm Governor Pat McCrory. In just a year and a half, my administration has taken more action to address groundwater and coal ash issues than any previous administration in North Carolina history. Much of the action being many months before the Dan River spill in February. You know, it's a shame that we have had to pick up pieces on coal ash after decades of out-of-sight and out-of-mind approach by previous governors or legislators and the company where I proudly worked for 29 years and is headquartered right here in North Carolina, Duke Energy. But that's why we are here, to make the tough decisions and do what's best for the people of North Carolina and to protect the most beautiful state in the nation. These actions include filing a lawsuit in cooperation with the Attorney General's staff for violations of state and federal law, initiating fines against Duke Energy, and forging a new partnership between North Carolina and the United States Environmental Protection Agency to hold utilities accountable for environmental violations. You know, it's just been 7 months ago, on February the 2nd, that there was a spill into the Dan River in Eden at one of Duke Energy's facilities. The spill occurred because of a break in a stormwater pipe at a decades-old and now closed coal-fired plant. You know, the spill released about 35,000 tons of coal ash and contaminated water into the Dan River. In the short term, we are fortunate that no city's drinking water was affected and there were no known fish kills. In the long term, however, we will continue to monitor the river and test the quality of the water. But this spill highlighted a much more serious issue and the potential for far greater damage at other locations in our state. When I visited the site of the spill, I directed the management at Duke to get the spill under control and quickly as possible. Thankfully, that happened. At the time, I said that our top priorities were ensuring the health and safety of the public as well as the wildlife in the Dan River and surrounding areas. Today, that priority remains the same. To ensure that we address the statewide issue of coal ash ponds, my administration drafted aggressive legislation which would result in the closure of all of the state's coal ash ponds, close loopholes in the state law to strengthen the state's ability to regulate coal ash ponds, and also to strengthen the spill notification process to aid state emergency response. We also want to eliminate special exemptions for utilities and increase regulatory authority to ensure dam safety and protect water quality. Our proposal was submitted to the General Assembly as a blueprint for legislative action and a national model to address coal ash cleanup. You know, we have made great progress in such a short period of time on this important issue. Most of the plan that passed the legislature last month mirrored our plan very closely, and there are numerous good points to the legislation. These excellent points include that this bill makes North Carolina the national leader in acknowledging and attacking the coal ash problem that has been building for more than a half a century. This bill also focuses on closing coal ash ponds in North Carolina, increasing pond and dam safety, and protecting our drinking and groundwater quality. This bill also eliminates loopholes regarding dam protection that were made by actions of previous legislatures and governors. You know, no longer will banana peels have tougher landfill requirements than coal ash. I will let this bill become law because these actions need to be implemented as soon as possible. I am letting the bill become law without signing it because there are major deficiencies that need to be corrected. These shortcomings include misdirected funding, which in turn leaves critical tasks, including dam safety, unfunded. Reporting requirements for state regulators are logistically totally unrealistic. The creation of another unchecked, non-judicial commission that reports to no one, has no accountability, and adds another level of unneeded bureaucracy. That is no way to run an efficient government. And lastly, our administration has serious constitutional issues with the legislative authority on appointments. It is the legislator's duty to draft and pass laws, but not to execute them, which is the executive branch's authority. As governor, I will direct the Public Safety Department to have administrative responsibilities to the Coal Ash Commission staff as the bill requires. However, the Commission staff will be housed within our environmental management team. Regarding the constitutionality of the Coal Ash Commission, there's a strong difference of opinion between the executive and legislative branches. I strongly believe the legislature's creation of the Coal Ash Commission violates separation of powers clause. In an attempt to avoid a legal fight in court, I will join Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest in seeking an advisory opinion from the North Carolina Supreme Court. This approach allows us to clarify this constitutional issue while still taking additional steps to clean up coal ash. If we are not successful in obtaining this guidance, we will move forward in the courts to obtain a resolution. In the meantime, we will move forward with our appointments and allow the legal process to proceed. Now, I've made it clear in the past that this is a problem, as the legislator's duty is to draft and pass laws, not to execute them, which is the duty of the executive branch. This commission is part of a broader concern that the legislature has encroached upon the executive branch's responsibilities to administer the laws. Some examples include the proposed Social Services Commission and Medicaid Commission, as well as the existing Board of Review. In the long session starting in January, our administration will make recommendations to correct and improve upon the deficiencies of the bill that we've listed. No longer will our state and our nation keep this issue out of sight and out of mind. North Carolina is going to lead the way on coal ash, but we are going to do it the right way, through leadership, transparency, and accountability.